man's got fire and a wild hot take. Hey, Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Hey, laughing loud when your team goes down. Hey, Straub boys run this sports town. Show. Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. Hey, college game day and Thursday night. Hey, rivals fall and the banter flies. Hey, we bleed our teams till the day we die. Hey, S-T-R-A-U-E, two loud mouths and a love for the league. From Cleveland roots to the world we go. This is the Straub Bro Sports Show. Straub Bro Sports Show.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Straub Bro Sports Show. I'm struggle busting along on this one. I don't think you've ever seen me in a hoodie on the Straub Bro Sports Show, but we're gonna warrior through today with an effort. First things first, Broski, how we doing, baby?
You know what? I'm sorry that you're not feeling well. One, because I want you to feel better, but two, because you probably missed the only good day that we're going to have in like 4 months. It was 50 degrees. It was sunny. It was amazing. And tomorrow is going to be 30 and snowy. So I'm sorry.
I had no idea. I was stuck inside with a migraine all day. That is coming back. So we're going to get through this. First things first, let's hit it up. My girl Ronnie. That's my girl Ronnie. She's first in. Ray, we in as always, my guy. Paula, shout out to her. We had an amazing event that we put on last night for the Danner Foundation. Shout out to Coach Jamal, who was with me last night. We had a little raffle, a little basket giveaway over here around the corner from me. We did some good work. We were able to sell a lot of tickets. And, hey, man, at the end of the day, we're giving back to the community in every way possible with the Rapids, and that's what we're all about. Yes, that's down bad today. We're supposed to get some good weather this weekend.
It's like 39. It was 55. It was 55 today.
And some good weather next week. And depending on whether or not my Rapids guys meet the challenge of their coach, we might have some outdoor practices. Shout out to our guy, Mel, of the 216 Sports Network, rocking with us as always. We appreciate you, Mel. All right, bro. Regardless of this headache, we got sports to talk about. And we've got some big old games this weekend to talk about. And Mom is in the house as well. Mom is in the house. Okay. All right.
These are fair points, right? These are fair points.
Absolutely. It could have been 100 degrees outside, or it could have been 12 degrees outside today, and I would have had no idea. And we all up in here. Appreciate everybody rocking with us today. Shout out to Caitlin as well. All right, bro. We've got the college football playoffs. I'm over it. Here's how you know I'm over it. I was scrolling through my phone today, and there was obviously I follow a lot of college stuff, but a lot of Notre Dame stuff as well. And there was a post there talking about how Jeremiah, I don't care anymore. Get over it. We bitched, we cried, we complained. We got real games to talk about. Where do you want to start? I'll let you pick the game.
First, I want to say congratulations to Jeremiah Love officially announced he's going to the NFL draft. Dude's going to be a top 15 pick, and dude's going to be a starter in the NFL almost immediately. Shout out to him. I'll give you your flowers before we get into this. I wanted to, boost your ego so when we go to here, you're not all grumpy. Let's start. I think we should start with the two kind of most, split games. Oregon, JMU, Ole Miss, Tulane. I think we should start there.
That sounds good to me. We'll start with the absolute blowout in week 5. Ole Miss stopped Tulane by 5 touchdowns. Drew, it's pretty simple for me. Is Now, if LSU, if Ole Miss had the entire coaching staff and everybody together, I don't even think we would be talking about this game. It would just be Ole Miss by 100. Is the championship game domination? Is the upheaval in the Ole Miss coaching staff? Is that enough for Tulane to make this a game?
Yes. And here's why. Listen, obviously, no one other than Tulane is truly believing that they're gonna like have a chance in this game.
But rightfully,
I wouldn't say have a chance. I wouldn't say no one other than Tulane believes that they can win this game. That's what I should say. Because I'm sure there are plenty of people that think that because of the Ole Miss situation, that Tulane is in a better position than it was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Also, Tulane, whether you believe this or not, is in terms of playing shape more ready to play a football game than Ole Miss because Ole Miss has now been off for 3 weeks.
That is the point that isn't being made enough for me. I personally don't think Tulane belongs on the field with any of these teams other than James Madison. However, you take any football team and give them 3 weeks off, and they're going to be rusty. This is the thing that Nick Saban used to complain about with the old championship game format, where they used to almost have a month off before the game was actually played. Coaches don't like this. Coaches like consistency, and coaches and players like to continue to play once they have started. You take weeks off, guys start to kind of slow up a little bit. Bodies start to kind of lose that adrenaline. Now I'm starting to feel stuff that I maybe tweaked a couple weeks ago. Now I'm not as focused. I'm not live during, Saturdays anymore. So it's not real reps anymore. We work with the Rapids. As much as these guys want to hit each other, there's a level of competition that goes down when it's just practice and you're hitting guys that you need to line up with. The focus, that's what basically what I was saying, Ray echoes too. The focus shifts. You're not there anymore. It's all studying. It's all game film. It's all planning. And you know what? At the end of the day, you can do as much of that as you want, but the real planning and game planning, the real tuning up comes on the field.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think Tulane right now, I think, is in a position where they can say they are the team that can come into this game and look at the other side of the field and say, we have more structure here. Because when it comes down to it, one, obviously the head coaching situation, the coordinator situation, this Ole Miss team is going to be looking for people that they don't normally look towards for advice during this game and during plays maybe they don't have a good knowledge on. That's obvious. But two, even when Lane Kiffin was there, this is an Ole Miss team that not often, but at least once or twice a season had lapses, had just times where their offense or their defense or both just looked off. And obviously you had Lane Kiffin, and as the years went on and got better, but what's going to happen when you get on that field and you don't have that stability of that head coach and things start to potentially snowball in terms of errors or in terms of incompletions, mental mistakes? Tulane has the head coach, obviously is leaving, but is staying there for now. They have a quarterback that they're rocking with who's been there forever. And this defense, since their second loss, has done nothing but get better and better and better and hold a really powerful North Texas offense to 21 points. And so, obviously, Ole Miss, in terms of talent, in terms of just competition, by far the better team. But sometimes when outside circumstances like what Ole Miss is going through happen, a team that is more professional, a team that is more ready, a team that limits the mistakes on the field and capitalizes on the other team's mistakes is the team that wins it. Maybe not the better team. And so I can't completely get Tulane out here because I think that unlike the JMU Oregon game, Ole Miss has things going against them that I think Tulane can easily capitalize on.
This for me is 100% and only about Ole Miss's locker room.
For sure.
Because you could say all that, and you know what, bro, and I don't want people to think that because I'm downplaying Tulane and James Madison, that means I'm downplaying your points, because I'm not. You make a great point. They did hold down a very high-powered North Texas offense, but that ain't Ole Miss. That's that's not a team loaded with talent like Ole Miss is. So for me, this is very simple. Ole Miss locker room, listening to the Straub Bro Sports Show live, like I know you are. You go out and play a halfway decent game, and you're going to beat Tulane. Now, that ain't got nothing to do with Georgia coming up next.
No.
But if they go out and play a decent game and are locked in together as a locker room, they're going to wipe the floor at Tulane. But if you guys are all worried about where I'm going next, who's coming in next, can I vibe with my coach who I'm mad went to LSU but came back for the bowl game? If that gets into that locker room, they are doomed, and we will see an upset regardless of how I feel. Now, here's the other funny part. Part of me kind of wants Ole Miss to have that screw up so you can all believe for a week that Tulane's really good, to have Georgia put 75 on them. But Tulane can go out and play the 100% best game of their lives. If Ole Miss matches it, they're going to run them off the field with those athletes and that talent. This is all about Ole Miss for me. I still think Ole Miss gets it done, but as much, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to bet on these games, so I'll put my money where my mouth is. At the end of the day, regardless of how much crap I'm going to talk about Tulane, I think they have a chance to keep this close. I really, really do.
No, absolutely. Like I said, they went from giving up a bunch of points early on in the season to barely giving up any at the end of the year. And so I think while the offense is still going to be a little lackluster, they're good, but they're not up there. The defense improving, I think, gives them even more of a shot.
Absolutely. It's not a shout out. Well, it's kind of a shout out to Mom, but shout out to Mom for breaking some news to me in my text chat. We'll touch on it after we talk college football playoffs. Unfortunately, it's not great breaking news. But nonetheless, we're going to shift over to that other game, that other team that not many people believe should be there, except for this man on the show who has championed this team for about 4 or 5 weeks now. Actually, maybe even longer when you take in the weeks off. Oregon hosts James Madison, an Oregon team that, while now is being called a sneaky dangerous team, shout out to our cousin Nate. He was telling me about this, that the betting lines, things are shifting because people are starting to look at this Oregon team. Could they maybe make a run? You're high on this James Madison team. Okay. Not a lot of us are very high on this Oregon team. Why isn't this the game that more people were talking about the upset could happen?
I think one, because Tulane is a more established group of 5 team, right? James Madison is this team that it's not even like, when we're talking levels of group of 5, obviously your first is the American. It's had teams in the college football playoff before. It's had teams that have been in big conferences before. The Sun Belt doesn't have that. And so that's why. Also, the turmoil of Ole Miss, I think, adds intrigue and stuff like that, where Oregon, one, more solidified. Dan Lanning always has the guys motivated. You know, the one loss is to the number 1 team in the nation. They've looked better lately. JMU, obviously, like I said, we've talked about this. But I'm gonna bring this down real quick because I want to talk here. And this is the problem that I have with people that do what we do but are much more sensationalized in their speak. Ken, why do we have the college football playoff?
Because you all couldn't deal with the BCS.
And why couldn't we deal with the BCS? Because
too many times we didn't feel like the two best teams in that season were the ones that were actually playing for the national championship. And there was no clear, transparent way for us to actually figure out how these teams were ranked. Although I think we're kind of back at that place now, but that's a different story for a different day.
Right. And the main arguments are none of these teams play each other, so we can't accurately. There's no true other metric that we're going to do it, so we have to have people do it and not an algorithm. It was the USC problem when they were out of the BCS national championship and all this. Ken, this is why we play the game.
My man is fired up.
I hate. Listen, I love your betting segment. I love it. I love it. But everybody looks at that line when it's Oregon by 3 touchdowns and just starts
20 and a half right now.
20 and a half. And everybody goes, JMU shouldn't be in here. JMU doesn't have the strength of schedule. Oregon's going to wipe the floor with them. And they're basing this either, if not solely, some part of it based on that line. Ken, let me tell you this. JMU is 9th in points per game. JMU is 10th in opposing points per game. JMU is 3rd in opposing yards per game. The issue I have is that if you can, I will believe you by saying Oregon and some of these other teams that aren't in have a better schedule than JMU. There's no doubt about it, right?
I mean, you want me to read you some of these teams?
But there's no doubt about it, right? But you know whose fault that is? That it's your conference's fault for bloating up the Big Ten, the SEC, all of these, so that now instead of, the Pac-12 having 2 or 3 good teams every year, the Big 12 having 2 or 3 good teams every year, the SEC having 3 or 4, the Big 10 having 3 or 4, they all got 6. And so, yeah, you're going to have 3-4 losses. And you know what? That's not good enough to get into the college football playoff. You know what is? Having 1 loss and winning your conference and blowing out majority of teams in your conference. Because you know what? Hey, how about you don't let a 7-5 Duke team get into the ACC championship game and you're making it? So, or Virginia, how about you beat the 7-5 Duke team and James Madison isn't in this conversation? But regardless of that,
or rank Notre Dame over Miami.
No, anyways, we have this because games matter. How a team plays and how a team wins matters. We can't, if we went, oh, this team is the best on paper, so they should be in, the preseason number 1 would be winning the national championship every year. You know how many times that happens? Not many. Texas was number 1 this year. What happened? They're not even in. Tulane and James Madison have done everything right to get into the position they have.
I'm gonna let me stop
maybe not. Hold on. Maybe not as impressive as previous, like a Boise State or a Cincinnati, where they've had the wins and they've backed it up. But you know what? Nobody else was impressive in their conference enough to top them. And to say that strength of schedule or quality losses is what matters in this scenario, I say, you know what? I would rather see a James Madison team come in with the mindset of this is probably one of our only chances to prove this than a 3-loss Texas team or someone else come in and get beat just like they got beat before. Because we've seen what Texas can do against some of these top 12 teams. We haven't seen James Madison do it. And so that's why I would like to just finish my point and say, let the game play out. If it's a blowout, you can say, hey, we've learned. But I hate these guys burying James Madison and burying Tulane when the game hasn't even been played yet.
So, first of all, I should be sick more often because you just going to grab the steering wheel, make me go lay down in the back seat, and you're just going to drive the rest of the way.
Go take a nap.
I need one. You had me until you brought in Tulane, because this in here, that whole conversation that I have about Tulane and my issue with Tulane is we saw you play someone in the college football playoffs and they beat the brakes off of you. Okay. Yeah. Get this man a refill. They beat the brakes off of you. Okay. And just because Lane Kiffin isn't there doesn't mean the rest of that talent isn't on that team. Now, I know Lane Kiffin is a great offensive mind. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. He's a great offensive mind. He's a great offensive coordinator. Now, I know most of those coordinators come back, and we've talked about that at the end of the day, you can lose that guy in charge, but if all of the coordinators are all running the same plays and the same philosophy, you can be okay. Mm-hmm. My problem is with everything you just said. Now, don't get me wrong. This schedule is not nice. I mean, we're talking Weber State, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Old Dominion, Texas State.
I don't care that this probably isn't good, but
but hear me out, because I'm going to defend it. I mean, Coastal Carolina, they beat Troy. Like, there's not a lot of great teams on this schedule. The only Power 5 team they played was Louisville. They lost 28-14. 28-14. Not 5 touchdowns like Tulane lost to Ole Miss on. Okay, I've seen Ole Miss do it. I don't like it. Don't think it's good. Get the hell out of here. James Madison had one opportunity. They played decent. They didn't play great. They also played this game in early September. Mm-hmm. For me, I have less problems with James Madison being in. I think they are the team that deserved to get in over Tulane. We like the North Texas team, but at the end of the day, they didn't handle business.
Correct.
And I get that there's coaching issues and stuff that Ole Miss has, but to me, my problem is Tulane's coach is leaving too. Okay. And the thing that we know for a fact, because it's been proven, because unfortunately with the way this college broken ass football system works, these coaches all get poached and sometimes coach the bowl games. Most of these guys don't win because it's impossible as a human being for you to be completely focused on the team that you have when you are with another team. That's not possible. Okay. You can't give all your love in a relationship if you got 2 of them. Okay. You're not giving all of your effort and love to that team when you're game planning on Monday, but I got to recruit on Tuesday, and then I'll go back to some game planning on Wednesday, but Thursday I got to go fly out and recruit for my you're not that focused. You're not. So Tulane is not focused. I could almost argue Ole Miss is more focused because those guys are going, this is our chance. We got these guys back for, I know Tulane might be saying that, but we got these guys back to come back and win these games. And we are more talented. James Madison to be 20.5 and for Tulane to be 17.5. I mean, it's plus 610 to take Tulane outright. It's plus 1,200 to take James Madison. That's
why they play the games.
100%. So you had me on the first half. Got me. Yeah, they had us in the first half, coach. You lose me a little bit when you add in Tulane because I have seen it. And that's the only difference. I know they get matched up with the same team, so that may actually help them. They've seen it. You know, they got a lot of highlights of those guys running down the field past all their defenders into the end zone. So they got lots of clips to watch. But yeah, the disrespect towards James Madison is a little much. I think these lines should be a little closer.
I also think, listen, if we're going by the logic of we've seen it before, Oklahoma and Alabama lost by 3+, one to a team in the college football playoff, one to a team out just outside of it. That's the issue, is that you're saying, oh, you know, this team got beat by a team in the CFP. Alabama put up 7. At least Tulane put up 10. You know what I mean? That's the logic there in me.
I do not have Big Bros Big Bets for the college football playoffs. I have an NFL one this week. But I would absolutely entertain James Madison plus 20.5. 100%. Why not?
Outright. I'm putting 10 on outright. I don't care.
He's gonna go on to 1,200. I love it. Little bros, horrible bets. I love it.
I bet with my heart, not my brain.
Now we didn't talk much about the game because you kind of just went on a rant and wanted to bitch about James Madison, which is fine. Right? You made great.
It wasn't about James Madison. It was about others.
No, and you make great overall points. However, let's get on the field. James Madison got to go to Eugene and play at Oregon, and that ain't easy. Okay. No. This is the same. Both of these games, and I know I feed into what you just bitched about. But both of these games are about the higher seeded team for me, because what Oregon are we getting? Am I getting the good Oregon? Because if that's the case, they could beat anybody in this first round. Am I getting that Penn State, Iowa, Oregon? Because that could make you look up and be like, James Madison's up 27-24 in the fourth? What is going on? So what Oregon team am I getting? Now, I would say this. This is one of the first times that Oregon can go, hey, we've been kind of disrespected this year. Nobody really believes in us. Nobody thinks that we're that good. Nobody thinks we're a top 4 team. We're slotted in at number 5 because teams lost, not because we're winning so good that we are up there. We saw this Oregon team, once they got dumped, they never were able to really climb back up. Now, unfortunately, they didn't have a lot of games on their schedule that helped them.
Yeah. Big Ten was or some of them.
But it was also some of their own performances. So, yeah, what Oregon am I getting? Now, my feeling is I kind of agree with some of these people that Oregon is a sneaky favorite to make a run in this college football playoffs, because they don't have no coaching issues. They don't have, and there's none of that. It's just 40 guys in the locker room going, okay, Ohio State must be the best. Indiana and Ohio State, they got it over everybody. Georgia, sure. Nobody's really picking Oregon, and that could be beneficial to them, because this is normally a team that's overhyped, and this is a team that everybody's right. Oh, Oregon, or not this year. So we'll see what that happens. And yeah, that's why they're being called sneaky, is 100%, because we haven't been high on this Oregon team. They're sitting at 5.
Yeah. No, I listen. This is, you never want to give Dan Lanning, bulletin board material, and listen, he'll take anything and turn it like that. So I think if you're James Madison, you got to expect that. You got well, 1, be quiet, but 2, you got to expect them to come out with their hair on fire and just absorb the blows. Oregon's going to come out. They're going to try to make you go 3 and out. They're going to try to fly around and make plays, and they're going to try to score quickly, because that's how Oregon gets rolling. However, in those games where it was close, it was a very slow start. You know what I mean? Oregon only scored 3 points in the first half against Penn State until they came along. Against Wisconsin, where that was their other close game, they only scored 7 points. And when it went against Iowa, the only other close game, they had 12. And so if you are James Madison, to have a chance here, yes, you have a very good offense, but a track meet against Oregon at home is not something that you want to get yourself into. Ask USC. USC tried to run a track meet. Oregon left them in the dust. James Madison, I talked about it, 10th in opposing points per game, 3rd in opposing yards per game. use that more than your offense. Disrupt DJ or is it DJ Moore? No. I am blowing Oregon quarterback Moore. Disrupt him, make him throw the ball away. Don't let him get into this playmakers. Just disrupt the game. Send weird blitz packages. Basically, we talk about Dante Moore. Thank you. I'm like, no, DJ Moore is the wide receiver for the Bears. But how we talk about like a lower basketball seed playing a big powerhouse, you just gotta disrupt their big guys. You gotta get them off.
Play good defense. Hit your threes. Play good defense. James Madison, hit those third down passes. Convert those third downs. Play good defense, and you can beat Oregon. But damn it, do not. I don't care how good your offense is. Do not get into a track meet with this Oregon offense. Yeah. There's only about 3 or 4 teams in this entire college football playoffs that if I put you on a neutral site and I say let the offenses go full throttle, there's only a couple that are going to be able to hang with this Oregon team. One of them is that Ole Miss team. One of them is possibly Texas Tech. After that, I'm looking at Ohio State, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Or Texas A&M. Those are the teams that have those explosive offenses. And Texas A&M reminds me a lot of Oregon in that you can disrupt this team and it becomes ugly. I still think Oregon can take care of business.
Yeah.
I actually think, as much as I do respect this James Madison team over the Tulane team, just because of the chaos at Ole Miss, I think Oregon is going to handle this. But my question now is, would you like to go back to the rematch, or do you want to go to the Notre Dame Bowl?
That's not what we're going to call it.
Let's go to
that one, because I think we're going to get into the rematch a little bit more.
Absolutely. All right. Number 7, Texas A&M hosts number 10, Miami. I have, regardless of the shit talking, I have firsthand knowledge of how these teams play. I watched them both a lot this year, and I watched them play my team.
Yeah.
This is, without a doubt, one of the worst matchups Texas A&M could be given.
I absolutely agree.
Because the one thing that we have said about Texas A&M would rather play Oregon.
Yeah.
Would rather play Ole Miss. Maybe even Alabama. Well, maybe not Alabama, but Oklahoma for sure. Because the one thing Texas A&M wants to do is Texas A&M wants to get into a game where both defenses go, all right, we're just going to try and get a turnover because we can't stop either of these offenses. When you get into a slow-paced, physical football game in which that Texas A&M offense is not able to really get rolling, you're going to beat them. Now, the thing is, Texas was the only team able to do it. South Carolina should have done it, but they just didn't. They just completely blew that game. Miami, and as much as I don't like them, the one thing that I will absolutely give this Miami team credit for is the same thing we've given them credit for since they beat my team week 1. This defense is legit. This defense is physical, and this defense can get to your quarterback without sacrificing the coverage. That is the key. I don't care if it's college, NFL, Rapids, Pee Wee football, high school football, middle school. If you can get to the quarterback without sacrificing coverage and without having to bring extra guys, you are going to not necessarily win the game, but you're going to do enough to give your offense a chance. And that Miami offense has playmakers and a veteran, done it before quarterback. And that is the key. When you look at this entire college playoff standings, regardless of the Heisman Trophy winner or who finished in the top 5, shout out to Diego Pavia for blowing his draft status because he couldn't keep his mouth shut. No team in this playoffs has a quarterback with the experience that Carson Beck has at Miami. That has to be key for them. Now we've seen him mess it up this year, and we've also seen him throw his teammates under the bus a couple weeks in, and it got kind of ugly, but they've rallied together and they've rallied as a team. Being put into the playoffs helped them. Being put into to the playoffs helped them. But if this Miami defense can come out and get to the quarterback and they can disrupt this Texas A&M offense, we will be coming back here Tuesday going, man, why were we ever questioning why Miami was in? Now, if me. Now, if that Miami defense comes out slow and they let that Texas A&M offense get rolling, I don't know if Miami has the firepower to keep up. They've got to play a lower scoring game. If I'm a Hurricanes fan, I want this game between 24 and 32 points. You start to get above that, I'm nervous that I'm chasing Texas A&M now. And that's not an offense you want to chase.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. But I think it's less about Miami, because if we're being honest, I think the Miami defense has been the same the whole year. They've been really, really good. I just think that the offense has let them down some games. And this A&M defense, while good, is going to give up points, and so I think Miami is going to be able to score some. However, I think this is entirely on how A&M comes out, because is this going to be the A&M team that dropped 41 on a very good Notre Dame defense and 38 on a very, very good Missouri defense? Or is it going to be the A&M that waited until the second half to do anything against South Carolina and then scored under 20 against a really good Texas defense? And I think that's the key there, is because if we are to compare teams to Miami, I think Texas is an amazing comparison. The only difference is, while Arch Manning is a very raw rookie freshman quarterback, not freshman, but first year, Carson Beck is experienced. And so if A&M come out like they started against Texas, I think the same result happens, where Miami shuts them down, Carson Beck dinks and dunks and gets some decent plays, and they convincingly win this game. But if A&M come out and go, no, we've learned from the Texas game, we see where the moment isn't too big for us, we can play within the bounds of the Miami defense and score enough points and take what the defense gives us, I think A&M gets this here. But I think a lot is dependent on how much they've learned from that Texas game, because that Texas game basically gave the blueprint of, if you got a good pass rush, you're going to make this A&M team struggle. And so A&M has to find a way to just divert that pass rush away from the quarterback and get the ball moving and out of his hands quicker, because if they let him hold on to it and try to make plays, it's just going to go poorly. And that offense for Miami can do enough to win this game.
Now, you talked about Vegas, so I'm going to be bringing that up. The Hurricanes are currently 3.5 point underdogs. So A&M minus 3.5. I do want to mention this is the second highest over under of the weekend as well. Tulane Ole Miss
solely on A&M.
yeah. Tulane Ole Miss is 56.5. James Madison Oregon is 47.5, which is kind of tasty. This one is 48.5. This is a key.
I don't even know, because in their losses, in Miami's losses, right, the 26-20 in overtime against SMU and the 24-21 over against Louisville, still under 30 points. You know, that defense, even if the other offense is rolling, they're still containing the other team's offense most of the time. It's just that the offense only scored about 20 points. If you do what Texas did, A&M only scored 17, 20 points is going to get you the win. Yeah, I think it's really, in my opinion, it's solely on the A&M team.
I agree with that. I'm gonna change what I'm about to say, but how I felt about that. The thing for Miami, though, and I've made jokes about it here. Miami wasn't in until the last day of the college football playoff rankings. If you don't think they're carrying that, we don't belong here, nobody. Well, I can't say. I unfortunately cannot use the nobody believed in us, because they put you in. So clearly they believed in you because you didn't win.
The narrative has shifted, though.
Yes.
It's the Notre Dame got robbed, like yada yada. Regardless of if they belong or not, they're carrying the chip of people think that, we're in because of bias, or we're in because of so and so.
Cut to the post-game interview of a Miami 27-24 late field goal victory, of them interviewing some defensive player or coach or offensive coordinator or quarterback, and they give you guys didn't believe in us. We weren't supposed to be here.
And you're
now
gonna
what? Now
complain
what?
about it.
Now you're gonna go get smoked by Ohio State. Congratulations to one of the two of you. That for me is it. That's what I'm hanging this on. I believe Tulane can keep it close because Ole Miss is in chaos. I believe Oregon has their backs up against the wall, don't feel like they're respected, and they're going to go blow out James Madison. Miami is in the same boat for me. I don't want to say they don't belong there. Some people didn't believe they belong there. They have a chip on their shoulder, and I think the defense is going to play lights out.
All right.
Last one. The rematch, our second rematch in the first round of a good one. Oklahoma hosts number 9, Alabama. I don't want to ask the question yet. We saw in the first game an impressive win by Oklahoma. John Mateer came through at the end with some clutch plays. I'm no longer in the same way we talk about Miami and Ohio State and Indiana and even Georgia. I don't think it's fair to overhype this defense anymore. You should know by now that this Oklahoma defense is legit and it's good. They've got a great coach in Brent Venables. He was a great defensive coordinator at Clemson. The reason Clemson was good is half of why is no longer good is partially because that guy's not there anymore. But can we do it in the playoffs? When games are getting tight, when all of it's on the line. My problem for Oklahoma is you had 2 chances this year to really take advantage and beat a good opponent, and you lost those games. You got your butt whooped in the Red River rivalry. You lost again later on. Have they learned enough to do what is very, very hard? And that is to beat a team in the regular season and go back and beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah. And honestly, I think there's 2 main points that I want to touch on here. One, obviously, when this team's played, Oklahoma did win. But if we remember, Alabama was dominating this game. And they kind of let Oklahoma get in. And once Oklahoma took the lead late, this Oklahoma defense stepped up.
There was an 8 because I'm reading through as I'm doing. And I remembered it, but I had to get the details. There was an 87-yard pick 6 in that game that turned the tide for that game. Oklahoma is gonna. This is the best matchup in the first round because we've got 2 of the better teams. Okay, listen. I hated Alabama last week too. Or 2 weeks ago as well. Minus 28 rushing yards in the SEC championship game. They get thumped by Georgia. But that's Georgia, okay? We believe Georgia can be in the national championship game. Not a lot of people believe either of these 2 teams can be in the national championship game. Can Oklahoma do? We talked about it. I said it before that game. Oklahoma, you need something. A pick 6, a kick return, a blocked punt. They ended up getting a blocked field goal in the second half too and help propel them. But can you do this? Because if not, Alabama's just going to grind this game away like Alabama does, and you better hope that Ty Simpson doesn't go off.
Thank you for taking all of my talking points and cutting me off. It's fine. No, I'm just playing with you. No, but I think while we said that this Alabama team let this Oklahoma team come back, that's not going to be the case. They're not going to allow this Oklahoma team to kind of just slowly come back into this game. So Oklahoma has to hold a lead for a majority of this game for me to truly believe that they're going to win this game. But in terms of Alabama here, what is the locker room like after that loss to Georgia? Because, listen, it wasn't close. That was a foot on neck scenario after that. And so if you are Coach DeBoer, what can you do to get these guys motivated for a playoff run? Is it the fact that you got in and all, right? Can you ride it of, we're in, we still have a chance at this, yada yada, because you have to. Because if you're gonna go in like, listen, whatever, next game mentality, that's not gonna work with these guys. Because that 28-7 against your rival in a championship game is gonna stick in their heads. That you have to crush any doubt that these guys have, because if you don't, this Oklahoma team is coming in off the high of them beating you in the regular season, and that they truly believe they're the better team and that their defense has been on fire lately. And so I think for Alabama, you have to turn the page, but you also have to use that as motivation in this game. Because if you just let that result just sit there, this is going to be an Alabama team you are going to tell is not going to have the intensity it needs to beat this Oklahoma team, because this Oklahoma team is going to give it to them for all 4 quarters. They're as intense as they come, especially on the defensive side. And so Alabama needs to match that intensity, because I believe they are the more talented team than Oklahoma. But they have to truly believe that going into this game and play for all 4 quarters, or the same thing is going to happen where Oklahoma, because of how intense and how much they play and they don't stop, are going to inevitably win this game.
I mean, this is an Alabama team that lost to Florida State.
Yes.
This is also an Alabama team that went in, but this is also an Alabama team that went into Georgia and did beat Georgia. Okay, I know they got stomped out in the rematch when it ultimately mattered a little bit more, but the thing that scares me for Alabama is almost the exact opposite reason that I'm high on this Miami team to win in round 1. Miami is sitting there like, oh, we got a chance now. Alabama's sitting there like, oh, we survived.
Yeah.
And we survived is not the same feeling in the locker room as, oh, we're here now. Also, no offense, that ain't Nick Saban in their game planning after a loss.
No.
That ain't Dan Lanning. That ain't it ain't Ryan Day. It's not Signetti. Like, there's a different level there. Now, it doesn't mean that DeBoer is bad. He's not a good coach, but we haven't seen that you can take this Alabama team and put them where we kind of feel Alabama belongs. And that's either winning the SEC championship, playing in a competitive game in the SEC championship, or winning a game or two in the college football playoffs. So that would be nervous to me. I think ultimately, and we haven't talked about it a lot, it's gonna come. This is a game where it's gonna come down to whose quarterback makes plays. If Ty Simpson goes off, Alabama's gonna win this game. But if Alabama allows John Mateer to stick around and make plays, the guy's clutch. Okay, he is a clutch college football player. He will make some clutch plays down the end, and you're gonna go, damn, Oklahoma got him again. The thing that I do look at, and this is going to come down to a lot of whether or not Kalen DeBoer is on the hot seat next year for Alabama. You can't go out and lose to this team twice.
No.
We won't look at Alabama. We won't look at Oklahoma in a horrible light if they were to lose the rematch to Alabama.
I agree.
You go out and get smoked by Oklahoma again or lose to Oklahoma again, we're going to be looking.
Questions.
A lot of people down there in Alabama are going to be.
Who's going to be on the phone? University of Michigan.
Oh, 100%.
Hey, just got to beat Ohio State every year. That's all we need from you.
That's it. So a good. This one I'm excited about. I'm really excited about this matchup. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. Just for the record, it has the lowest over under of all of the college football playoff games so far. Only 41.5. Oklahoma is currently -1.5. It's a pick'em game. It's a toss up in Vegas.
It was 44, by the way, was the point total last time.
Exactly, which is why Vegas is teasing you. Norman, you better show up for your team.
Hey, listen, I already commented last time. push the finals back for this game. The one thing Oklahoma can do is show up for their college football team. So I don't got no doubts. But if this game was in Tuscaloosa, I think I'd have serious doubts about Oklahoma coming through. I'm really curious to see how Ty Simpson comes out with a very hostile crowd that knows that this Oklahoma team can beat out Alabama because it's done it.
The scary thing for me would be if I'm Alabama and Oklahoma comes out in the first quarter and punches me in the mouth. Does my team start having SEC championship flashbacks?
Yes.
And thinking, oh, no, we're just not good enough this year. So that would be scary to me. But we've got some exciting ones. Just in case you were curious, let's say that you believe Oklahoma gets it done at home. Let's say that you think that Ole Miss can get it done and that you think Oregon can get it done. And then you toss up something, either one between the games. Not a lot of great odds. Okay, this is why I did not do big bros, big bets for the college football playoffs, because unless you're taking some underdogs or you're really starting to explore some point spreads, there's not a lot here. Now, I will touch on some over-unders because I'm probably going to take the over in this game, the over in Miami game, the under in Tulane, and the over in James Madison because I'm a degenerate, but that's just me.
All right.
So we're gonna take a quick break before we come in and do the NFL, but I got some breaking news, unfortunately. And I know we don't talk a lot, but we don't talk a lot of NASCAR on our show, but it's not the national focus all the time. But former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, a name that I know. If you're a sports fan, you may know that name. Him and his family were among 7 people tragically killed today in a plane crash in North Carolina. You may have seen that plane crash pop up on your news feed this morning. One of the top 75 drivers in history. Like I said, I'm a sports guy. I know all sports, not to sound cocky, but so I'm familiar with the name. But either way, just tragic. An awful, awful tragedy today. So sending our love from the Straub Sports Show to his family, to his loved ones. That's a huge loss. And I don't actually want to just because there's human beings involved. It wasn't just Greg, it was his wife Christina, his daughter Emma, and his son Ryder. Awful news. When you just pile that on with what happened at Brown University, what happened in Australia, this world is crazy. We don't use this platform very often to have conversations that go beyond sports, but this world's a messed up place and we could use some love and some healing. Shout out to mom. I will say this, and I'm going to use this. We didn't talk about any of this stuff, but I'm going to use this for a second. If you are one of those people that can watch videos that are a little bit more on the heavy side, if you don't know anything about the tragedy that happened in Australia, look up the man who stopped it. There was a street vendor, an immigrant street vendor in Australia, because there's been pushed on a lot of these things that happen with immigrants that people like to push that narrative. But an immigrant hid between 2 cars and jumped on and tackled one of the gunmen in the Australian shooting and took him down. Took the gun from him and took him down. Just a regular person working a regular hard-ass job who found all of the courage in the world to be a hero. And those are the people that we should be celebrating and championing, people like that. So yeah, some heavy stuff here on the show, but I'm going to leave it with that before we go to a quick commercial break. And yes, every day on this earth is a blessing. Every day that you're with your loved ones is a good one. So our condolences to the Biffle family and just kind of everybody right now. Much love here from the Straub Sports Show. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk some football. Today, I want to talk to you about Ani's Army Foundation. Started by Mark and Lynn Meyer to honor their daughter, Annika,
Ani's Army Foundation was formed to raise money for the research of medulloblastoma tumors and other pediatric cancers, while making a positive impact on the community and helping those families in need. Here on the website, anisarmy.org, you can follow Ani's story, a story of strength and the love that her family has with her and she has with them as she fights this battle. Here on the website, if you can, please donate via Venmo, credit card, PayPal, cash, or check. Any donation is loved and any donation is appreciated. Thank you.
All right. Oh, he's back in. I was giving you that buffer second to hop back in. That's absolutely. All right.
Real quick, because obviously we had some bad news. Let's get it back on track real quick, and it actually involves NFL and it involves Miami. Yesterday, Bernie Kosar, ex-Cleveland Browns quarterback, officially released from the hospital yesterday following his liver transplant. Doing well. Wanted to give that shout out some positive news to kind of, because listen, obviously we want to, talk about everything and make sure that but positivity on this show, I think, is something that we all like and we all look forward to. So I wanted to put that out there as well.
I feel like I can just bring that comment right back. Shout out to Bernie. I mean, the man was doing really good like a day or two after the transplant. So I all love to that man. Bernie's had a rough one. Especially after his playing career is done in terms of his health kind of going up and down. So shout out to that. I enjoy Bernie when he does the Brown stuff. I enjoy him in the preseason game. So shout out to our guy there. Absolutely. Let's turn this back positive. Let's get to some games. We start tonight. A absolute massive NFC West divisional matchup. Two teams fighting for the crown. I had to get that all remembered it for a second. The Rams travel to Seattle in a harsh 40-mile-an-hour wind condition to take on the Seahawks. Drew, on Tuesday, I poo-pooed these Seahawks because anytime they play a good team with a good defense, their offense struggles. This is a chance to prove me wrong and the rest of the country.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think I wouldn't say there's a good chance, but I think there's definitely a chance because, listen, Thursday Night Football, always interesting. Teams that maybe do bad somehow pull it out because it's prime time. They're at home. And I know we've talked for years about Kansas City being an amazing venue to play at. And, Seattle was one of the first. Seattle was one of the first ones to break sound, noise levels in their stadium. That stadium is no joke. It's an amazing atmosphere there. They're playing great. And listen, you know what? In 40-mile-an-hour winds and, bad weather, what usually wins the game is defense. And LA's got a good defense, but Seattle's got one of the best in the league. And so if this team were to win it, it would be off of their defense and Sam Darnold and that offense making some crucial plays down the stretch and leaning on the defense and the fans to get it done for them.
I mean, that Seattle home field advantage trickles out of sports. It isn't just the Seahawks that play in that building. The Sounders play in that building, and have an amazing home field advantage as well because that place is loud. It's built to be loud, and the crowd matches that and intensifies that. It's an absolute home field advantage. A lot of the things, unfortunately, and it's kind of a theme this week, that we have to talk about the Rams have nothing to do with the actual on-field stuff. A distracted team, I think we could say right now. Puka Nacua has to apologize. I didn't actually see the touchdown celebration that he was asked to do, but it was clearly he had to apologize for it because it was deemed offensive. I'm not excusing him. I'm ignorant to the situation. I did not see it, so I can't offer an opinion on what I did not see.
So I looked into it. He was on.
We're getting canceled.
He was on a podcast or show with some controversial figures already.
Aiden Ross
and people keep go back and forth on, his comments and his takes on things and whether or not he's serious or legitimate when he apologizes for things, yada yada. He was asked to do a rubbing of the hands, and obviously that could be construed in towards of an anti-Semitic way in terms of Judaism, in terms of greed and things like that, because Aiden Ross has said very anti-Semitic things.
Okay. I'm learning.
And so Puka Nacua obviously agreed to do it. Obviously didn't do it.
Part of that was those guys were actually trying to enter the facility during the stream and were denied access. And Puka then was on the stream with them. They asked him to do the touchdown celebration. Go ahead.
And so and honestly, what I'm going to say is Puka Nacua, up until this point, has done nothing but be an amazing human being. And so while I won't excuse the other people because that potentially could have been bad intentions, but I truly don't know. I feel obligated to give Puka the benefit of the doubt here, just because of what I've seen before and because he's taking this so seriously in the accusations of what has happened.
100%. I did not know
but
that.
I agree it is a distraction.
You 100%. And that's the problem. His brother was also arrested yesterday in connection with the theft of one of the Los Angeles Lakers players' car, theft of their car. So there's no way Puka's not distracted. Doesn't mean he can't go out and have a good game, but there's definitely some distractions there. I did not know that about the celebration, so you're teaching an old man some stuff that I should be aware of. Number two, I'm old. I am 36. I'm old. I don't watch you streamers. Okay. So, but I will say this, and I don't know where I'm siding here, but I don't care. I don't like either of those guys, the Aiden Ross guy or the Neon guy. Not fans of
very
what
much
I've
a
seen.
sensational.
Yeah.
I
don't do clicks. It's not why we do this. There's been some online stuff on social media with some sports guys that are local to us. And I mean, one of them likes to get clicks and say sensational things and troll people. That's not what we do here. It's not why I got involved in this. We would cancel the show before we would ever let it turn into a click fest for views. That's just not what we do. I'll take my 7 people watching a day or a week before I will.
We love all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I'll do stuff just for clicks. We love every single one of y'all. Are you kidding me? But that's just not what we do. But I don't like either of those guys. I think they're both annoying as hell. I have seen some of the controversial stuff now that the name keeps ringing in my head from Aiden Ross. But yeah, I'm not. No, thank you. And no, Puka, what are you doing, man? Like, get it together. Stop trying to be with these streamers and with these kids and messing your bag up. You're a generational talent at wide receiver. Don't screw it up trying to hang out with these idiots. I can't believe I'm telling a grown man stop hanging out. It's like John Morant. Stop. You have generational talent and generational wealth ahead of you. Stop fumbling the bag because you want to be with the cool kids or who you perceive to be the cool kids. That shit bothers me. More on the field, non on the field. Devontae Adams is doubtful. Now, he is not listed as out. However, he is listed as doubtful. I mean, that's probably going to be more of can you go a couple plays? No? All right, that's fine. Just sit.
And honestly, watching the injury when it was non-contact, that's probably honestly the best news they could have had because that could have been a season ender the way it looked. The fact he's still the potential to play is got to be a great sign for them, regardless if he plays tonight or not.
Like you said, when it's non-contact like that, it usually is not good. So the fact that he's even doubtful is good. And I know some of those comments that you were talking about are very, very important to my guy right there. So you don't play about that stuff. So yeah, Puka, get it together. Separate yourself from that, and we'll see. I think now with all of this, the Devontae Adams, the Puka stuff, I think Seattle can win this game. They've got to take advantage of the elements, though, because if you let this Rams offense get rolling, I don't believe the Seahawks offense can match it.
Agreed.
All right. We've got some Saturday football, Brody. All right. So sprinkled in with all your college football playoffs, we've got some CFP on Friday. We've got the games sprinkled out throughout Saturday, but smack dab right in the middle of it, we've got two old school divisional rivalries in the NFC. Eagles at Washington, Packers at Bears. Damn it, I wish Washington was good because the Eagles are going to win another damn game, and I hate them so much. Can Washington be punchy enough to keep this close?
That's the thing, is obviously the Eagles are heavily favored, and they should be. The Eagles have been known to play down to the opponents a time or two. We saw them lose to the Giants earlier in the season. They're on the road in Washington. It's very, very possible, truly. But a lot has to go their way, and Jalen Hurts has to look like the worst he's been all season, which is possible because we've seen it. But they can also rely on a lot of other things. And so, like I said, a lot would have to go their way for Washington to win this game. But I think it's plausible.
So we'll see. It's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna cook some parlays. I'm gonna cook some stuff. We're gonna do what we do. The Eagles should take care of business here. This shouldn't be. But I don't believe in this Eagles team, so watch it be close. But they should be able to take care of business. Let's get to the good one, baby. Packers at Bears. I mean, we just had one a couple weeks ago, and it was great. Now we get it right back. The key here is, though, no Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons done for the year for the Packers. Can Caleb Williams and these boys sneak themselves a home victory against the Packers and rewrite what has been an awful 10 plus years of Packers Bears games if you're a Chicago fan?
Yeah, so I believe if Chicago wins this, they have clinched a playoff berth. Not the division, but a playoff berth. No, this is the issue is this is all on Chicago because the Packers have the history, the Packers have the motivation, and the Bears have in their head, even some of them have to have that mentality of, can we truly beat a Packers team in a matchup where it actually means something? And so the crucial, I think, element of this is you have to play like this is a playoff game. You have to be smart. I don't think you should take risks in this game because if I'm being honest, I think Chicago's the more talented team. I think Chicago.
Finally.
I think Chicago. I think the Packers are a great team. I think when Chicago plays at its best, they are better than the Packers. They have to. The Packers are going to try to muddy this game. They're going to try to make Caleb Williams uncomfortable. They're going to try to force it to the receivers that aren't usually their starters, with Rome Odunze being out. Because the Bears are going to try to get it to Loveland. They're going to try to get it to Komet. If they force Caleb Williams to go to these second, third receivers that don't play, it's gonna be hard for them to win. However, if the Bears can play their game, if they can lean on Swift and, like I said, Komet and their tight ends and DJ Moore in big plays and let the defense just attack Jordan Love, the Bears have this. They have the home field, Soldier Field, by the way, beautiful stadium. Walked around it last year. It's also when it during playoff time gets really, really loud, gets really good. The Bears need to put demons behind them. And I think what I mean by that is there can't be a speck of doubt that they can win this game based on any results from the past or current. If they truly come out with the mentality of, we are better than this team, we are going to beat this team, and we're going to play professionally, they're going to win this game. But if you can tell that there's some doubt, there's some infighting on, how the team is playing, the Packers are going to capitalize this because I think that they are the more experienced team when it comes to these moments.
There shouldn't be, because if I'm in that locker room, I would have had this message after the game, and I would be screaming it this week. We had that team. We let them beat us. We are better. Because had they gone out and got blown out by the Packers, I could see us going into this week and going, well, the Bears are going to have to try to put something together. No, that wasn't a blowout, okay? Bears had that game, okay? Packers won it, but Bears had that game. And if I'm in that locker room, there's not a doubt in my mind that we can beat this team. And this is our year. And I would say this very much, now, at the end of the day, the team with the more experience and who some of you believe is the better quarterback. I'll take Caleb Williams right now. This reminds me of last week's Bills and Patriots matchup. Jordan Love and the Packers. This is the worst Caleb Williams is going to be. This is as bad as he is going to be. We see the ascension. We see this kid's going to be good. You better clip him now, because for the next couple of years, you may not have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll see. I think the Bears need to come out, and the first drive that the Packers have, the Bears need to shut them 3 and out. And you can't let the Packers team get rolling, is what I'm saying.
No.
Because if this Packers team is very liable to just stalling after the first drive over and over and over again. They compound 3 and outs very easily, but they also compound scores very easily. And so how your defense sets the tone is very, very key. And then, like I said, that comes with the mentality of, we're better than this team. We're going to beat this team.
Now, I've seen this.
There's no way.
They are exploring options. Now, the problem that I have is the Bears are different, okay? Along the same lines that the Jets are a bit different, the Packers are a bit different, the Cowboys are a bit different, and as much as I like to give you some shit, the Browns are a bit different. There are certain cities that a football team belongs in.
Yes.
And if you don't think that Chicago is one of them, then I'm gonna need to see you outside after the show, and we're gonna have to talk. All right. And Bedford Ken is gonna have to show you some hands, because you're crazy, and I'm gonna have to hit you upside the head to smack some sense into you. I think this is a threat. I think this is a threat. I think this is more just give us what we want. I don't think the city of Chicago is going to have a problem giving them what they want.
Well, also, I think Chicago is too big of a market for the NFL to allow a team to kind of just walk away. Maybe even if if the Bears go to Indiana, a team will be given to Chicago within a couple years after that, because Chicago is too big of a market not to have an NFL team in.
I agree. We'll let it develop, because I only read a little bit about it today. We'll let the story develop a little bit more, but I think it would be awful. All right,
it's a power move.
All right, get this over with.
Oh yes, the Chargers go to Dallas. Ken, I think it's your first non-primetime game in like 3 weeks.
I'm okay with that.
And we'll get this over really quickly. Ken, you still got a chance to make the playoffs. It's less than 1%, but you still got a chance. 2.5 out of the NFC East, 3 out of the wild card. Your only path, if I'm being completely honest, is for the Eagles to lose every game and you to win every game. I believe that's the only way you can come in.
Come on,
but hey, you're not out of it yet.
Less than 1% chance. I hate you. This is the funniest, most awful thing that I allowed myself to be
And
involved in.
it unraveled so quickly.
It did unravel so quickly. Like
quickly.
like I literally said this the week before the Lions game. Like this could not have
The
unraveled.
day of the Lions
Yes,
game.
that's true. That's true. Well, no, it was the Tuesday show. It was the
Oh,
Tuesday
you're
show.
right. And I made this on Thursday. You're right.
And you
You're
made
right,
this on Thursday. This sucks. I hate this. I will say this though. I still feel like we're gonna beat this Chargers team. I think we're gonna win out, and we're gonna miss the playoffs by point whatever.
You'll be team number 20 in the draft.
It's just an awful place to be in. I don't know. We suck, dude. I don't know. Move on. We suck. Okay. I just allowed you to put your graphic up because when I snuck a peek at it, I noticed that I was under 1% because I've stopped watching the NFL coverage of my Cowboys since we lost. But yeah, I still think we'll win. I think we're going to look great this week, which is going to just piss me off even more. I think we're going to handle the Chargers. I think it's going to be like 35-17, and we're going to go, what the hell? Well, I'm going to go, what the hell? Because why couldn't you do this?
Fair.
All you had to do was beat Arizona. We wouldn't even really be in this position right now.
Well, and Minnesota. You should have beat Minnesota.
I understand.
But no, I agree. We will see. And speaking of, honestly, in my honest opinion, I think both teams should bench their quarterbacks, especially Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, you are getting too many concussion protocols. Go sit the remaining games out. Your play
put up 34 in the Cowboys, and you want to bench him?
No, not like bench because of play. Bench because these teams are out of playoff contention, and there's no reason to get your rookie quarterback who looks somewhat competent hurt. JJ McCarthy, maybe you want to play him to get him some more experience, right? You want him to get him playing. Jackson Dart's proven that he can play in the NFL. Bench him. Do not play him. You are going to have this guy brain be mush by season 2 because he doesn't know how to protect himself.
Love you, mama.
Love you.
Ray, that better be JJ McCarthy, because if you out here starting Jackson Dart, you got some problems, Brody. Although at this point, who's left? Yeah, I've said this for weeks. Jackson Dart shouldn't be playing football anymore this year because he's going to get himself killed because he's going to scramble his brain. Okay. Like, I don't know how else to say this. This kid puts himself in some of the worst positions I've seen a quarterback put himself in, near the sideline, and the way he just refuses to protect himself. Dude, there are no walk-ons in the NFL. Every one of these guys is 250 pounds, can lift a house, and wants to kill you. Stop giving them opportunities, and you're the only player on the field who controls those. Everybody else has got to just take what they can get. You are the quarterback. You control whether or not you get killed on the field. You keep putting yourself to get killed on the field, and it's not worth it right now. If this team was fighting for the division and Jackson Dart was going out there going, no, man, I got to make a play. This team's got something great going. You don't have Cam Scatterbo. You don't have your Malik Neighbors. You don't have some of your defensive players. Stop getting yourself into a position where this team gets healthy next year but doesn't have you because you're sitting on the sideline because your brain is mush.
Speaking of quarterbacks that make bad decisions and have brain mush, the Bengals go to the Dolphins with the news being that Tua Tagovailoa has been benched by the Miami Dolphins, and Quinn Ewers will make his first start. Ken, a Texas quarterback, has not won its opening game in, I want to say, 20 years. With Colt McCoy, Vince Young, and I'm blanking on his name, who was before Ewers, lost their opening game. Ken, you got any faith in him?
I thought that when I watched Quinn Ewers at Texas, I thought he could potentially be an NFL quarterback. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes level.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's also guys named Phillip Rivers who are 44 years old who still play quarterback in the NFL. So there's levels here. I don't think this is, well, if you were going to put an NFL quarterback in for his first start, the Bengals defense is probably one of the ones I want to play.
Very, very true.
And a Bengals team who's out of it, has a quarterback that they're not sure wants to be there anymore. Like, there's a whole bunch of mess at play here. I'm rooting for the kid. I liked him at Texas. I thought he was a good kid. I don't know. Who cares?
The name I was thinking of is Sam Ellinger,
Sure.
who lost in his debut with the Colts.
Right.
But I'm curious to see how he plays because listen, kid was very similar to wow. I am losing all sorts of names today. Basically, he is a very accurate, very safe quarterback, but like we've seen, that doesn't necessarily guarantee you success. You need to be able to make plays in the NFL.
Go ahead.
Go on.
The only thing is, though, now I know Tyreek Hill is gone for the season. When this Miami offense was rolling, that's all Tua was doing, was being accurate and managing the game. Tua don't have a great arm. Okay, that was one of his downfalls coming into the league. Okay, that he didn't have a strong arm. But when that man was rolling and he wasn't getting his brain rattled inside of his own helmet, that offense was great. That Miami team was good. They were in the playoffs. Yeah, they lost in the snow. It happens when you're a warm weather team sometimes. But all Quinn Ewers has to do is come in and hit his receivers, give that ball to Achane, and go. And this team can get back rolling. And I applaud the Dolphins because I have a question for you. I said on Tuesday that the Tua Tagovailoa time in Miami was done. It was time to move on. Mike McDaniels listened to me. He's trying to save his job, and he benches him. Here's my question. Do we see Tua start for an NFL team next year?
No. Because one of his main Tua Tagovailoa's quarterback archetype is game manager that can scramble pretty well. That is Tua Tagovailoa's team. So the issue is that one, teams are very afraid to let him scramble because of now the history of him not protecting himself and multiple injuries that could result in him having to retire. And two, I don't think that there's a team that needs that archetype and has the people around him like the Dolphins do. The Dolphins probably his best scenario here. And the issue is they're giving up on him. And so teams are looking at it and saying, one, we don't have the weapons that Miami has. And so he's going to suffer even more than he is. And two, do we really want to be the team that takes Tua and then is the team that makes Tua retire? And I think that's the biggest key here.
First of all, shout out to my guy, Six. Never late. Always on time in the show. I said it on Tuesday. That was my problem. He's getting every opportunity to still play, not because of his play, but because of the health issues. Because Miami drafted him, loves him, and believes in him. You better hope that a coordinator or somebody is in that staffing room going, no, guys. He can do it. Give this guy a chance. Excuse me, because if I'm a general manager of a team, I could not possibly. And it was the same for a guy like RG3 when his knee went out.
Yeah.
I can't give you the keys to the kingdom. I can't give you the steering wheel when I don't know that you can make it to the destination. Now, I know it's football, so you could say that about every single player. But this guy's a little different. And we make our jokes here, but at the end of the day, the conversation got real freaking serious when he got hurt. Because I love football. I'll never let my son play it. I didn't play it. I love it though. I don't want to watch a man be permanently handicapped on a field. The whole league shut down what happened in Buffalo. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The games stopped. We canceled the game. We took a couple of days off and went, holy shit, it got too real. This is what happens every time Tua gets hit. I stop and I go, oh my God, no. Please get up. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. I don't know if there's another GM who's going to be willing to take that chance. And I've said it, and I said it when it happened the second time. Tua, go home. You've won a national championship in college. You made it to the NFL. You were a starter. I know it is hard as an athlete to tuck that pride and be done, but we're not talking about a knee or an ankle here. We're talking about being able to speak, read, live, talk, communicate. I don't know. I think it's done, and I think it should be done. All right, moving on.
Next.
My Buccaneers take on your Panthers.
By the way, a battle for the NFC South. Ken, this is going to be one where we are either going to say the Buccaneers are rebounding or they have completely fallen off a cliff from the start of the season. And that's no discredit to the Panthers. I think we have to look at what the Buccaneers were at the beginning of the season. And if they lose this game, see how far they've dropped and ask some real questions about what the problem is on that team, because something is obviously off. And if you go into Carolina, a team that, while has played a lot better this year, is still, I think, very far away from being a true playoff contender. And if you give them the edge in this division, you have to look at somebody in the Buccaneers organization and saying, this is wrong, this needs to stop. And whether that's the play on the field, the coaching, or the upper man, something has to change, because you can't have this collapse and let a team that honestly shouldn't be in the playoffs win the division.
That's my problem. And I've been hard on this Carolina team. I've started to give them some props. Hell, I tried to find out if Bryce Young had any chance at comeback player of the year. We shot that down last week or on Tuesday. We're all high on this Tampa Bay team because we know what Baker can do at his highest level. We've seen the raw talent from Mbuka. We know Mike Evans is a dog. We've seen Bucky Irvin come in and be a very, very good NFL running back. You have more talent. You have the better quarterback. You have what some people think is the better coach, although I do like what he's doing in Carolina. You should win this game. And you're absolutely right. If they don't win this game, I know Ray's ass will be ready on Tuesday to smoke some Baker. I'm gonna have to ask some questions because this team is too damn talented to not be in the playoffs.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And so something has to be this week. Something has to be done in terms of coming together and saying this is not working. What do we have to do to fix it? Because listen, you can't go out and lose to the Falcons, the Saints, barely beat the Cardinals, and get blown out by the Bills and the Rams and just pretend like everything's okay. Because something has to change.
I agree.
Let's hope it's not too late.
Absolutely. See, there we go. He did it, and that is the thing that the Bucs team could.
The last week he did.
I know, but that is the one thing that the Bucs could bark back at us with and say, hey, for a large stretch of this, we were playing with our 6-string tackle, 2 running backs out, and 2 star wide receivers out, and we're still having a chance. That's pretty damn good. So I'll give them that. All right, we've got a contender for the worst game of the year. Jets at Saints. I don't care.
Yeah, let's move on.
I do have it. Who's starting quarterback for the Jets this week?
Probably still Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor versus some Tyler Shaw. Okay, we got it.
No, nope.
Oof. What could be the beatdown of the year? Bills at Browns. Drew.
Hey.
Here's what
I'm gonna say. 1, another test for Shador. Needs to have a little bit of a bounce back performance. This Bills defense is it's good, but it's not great. You can definitely score some points, so I think you should. Secondly, and honestly, I hate that this is the more important part. This is a Bills offense that is built around its quarterback making plays. What that means is that there is more chances for Myles Garrett to break the sack record. And I think that's the biggest thing because you play Tennessee. Tennessee literally just gave the ball just to the running back away from Garrett all game. That's what happened. And then last week against the Bears, Caleb Williams got rid of the ball, rolled out to the right, and then gave the ball to DeAndre Swift. The Bills don't do that. The Bills have their offense. They run their offense. They don't adjust. And so Myles Garrett, hey, you need 1.5 to break the record. Give me 2. Do it in Cleveland. However, I will say we do play the Steelers next week, and that would be very nice. It is at home as well next week. But two things. Shador, please play well. I want you to play well. Garrett, choose if you want to break the record this week or next week. And let's see what happens.
I love that he's got 2 opportunities to do it at home.
And that would be, by the way, within a 16-game season because there's still a game after that. And I would like that more because I don't want people saying he's doing it in a 17-game season.
100%. I 100% agree with that. Because when you started doing that, I was like, no, do not put this off and try to get this on the last week. Go put it out of reach for the next guy in week 17.
25.
Right. When you play against the Steelers. Damn, I feel bad for Shador because I really wish he could have had the schedule that Dylan Gabriel had at the beginning of the year because this last bit of run has been effing brutal. Taking out the Titans game, and the Raiders game, having to play some of these teams. Problem for the Browns is the Bills are now in playoff mode. We saw it last week.
Yeah.
This is a different level now. They're ready to go on another level now, and that would scare me if I'm the Browns. I absolutely think Myles can get to 100%. I want him to see it. As much crap as I give you Cleveland Browns fans, I would like to see this happen for you guys at home and you guys get to celebrate it. It would also be very Cleveland Browns for this man to not get a sack in the last 2 games as well.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
I'm sorry.
Don't do that to me.
Other than
now
that,
let's talk about 2 other non-playoff teams.
You missed what I was going to say. The other contender for worst game of the year as Gardner Minshew.
There we go. Like give me the Chiefs backup quarterback.
I was trying. Gardner Minshew and the Chiefs take on Cam Ward and the Titans. This sucks.
Yeah. This is a thing where I truly hope this just gets buried. I hope there is no coverage on this game. I hope that so many other things, because listen, I know the Chiefs are prime time and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I get it. It generates views. I don't care. Gardner Minshew is Gardner Minshew. He is a career backup. I love him. He's a career backup. The rest of the team is old or just underperforming. Tennessee on the upswing, but still not a good team. Just bury this game. I don't want to hear a peep about it anywhere.
Thank you. I do want to mention, because I've seen it, for the Miami game, not only is Quinn Ewers QB1, our guy Zach Wilson is QB2. Tua Tagovailoa demoted
emergency quarterback.
Yeah, emergency quarterback. All right, let's run through these Sunday games. Broncos at Jags, that's a good one. This is a chance. We've been skeptical a bit of both of these quarterbacks, rightfully so this year. Yes, the Broncos have the better record. The defense is amazing. We know all of that. The Jaguars defense had a really, really good run at the beginning of the year, slowed down a bit. Now that team is rebounding. I'm going to be excited for this game strictly because I want to see what these quarterbacks do on a stage where these 2 teams could meet again. Show me what you got.
Yes, and two good to great defenses.
We love you, Ronnie.
Two great defenses. How do the quarterbacks stack up against this? Because that's going to be a thing where maybe these two teams do, but maybe they don't meet each other in the playoffs. But this is a blueprint on how these quarterbacks are going to play against good defenses in the playoffs.
I agree. This is a good one. I don't need to talk about it much because I just want to see it. I don't got a preview for this. This is a good one. This is not a good one. Falcons at
No,
Cardinals. Apologize to my guy Six, who's a Falcons fan. I don't give a shit about this game.
Yeah, this is just a game for Kirk Cousins to pad his stats and get signed by a mega deal with another team. And then this is also a game for Jacoby Brissett to have a bad game, and then Kyler Murray to be the default quarterback next year. That's honestly, I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be 32-14. Jacoby Brissett 2 interceptions, Kirk Cousins 3 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins gets signed to a disgusting deal next year, and Kyler Murray gets re-signed because the Cardinals are not good enough or not bad enough to get a good quarterback, but not good enough with Jacoby Brissett.
God damn it, Arizona, blow it up, and Atlanta, figure it out. I care about one of these teams, but I don't care about these games. Texans at Raiders. Texans, they just better right, tune-up game, stay healthy, score some points, win the game, get out of there. Yep. Now we got the good one. Fighting for their playoff lives, the Steelers travel to Detroit to take on those Lions. At this point, the Lions have to win out. That is their only chance.
And I think the problem is that, at least for the Steelers, they don't look like a desperate team yet. Mm-mm. The Lions look like a desperate team. This isn't biased. This is because I hate Pittsburgh. I think the Lions are going to obliterate them. I truly think the Lions are going to say, hey, listen, this is a team that is also in limbo, but it's not as hungry as us. Put a statement out there. And I think 42-14 is like a beat down on the Steelers team.
I mean, we have Aaron Rodgers doing discount double checks last week.
Against the Dolphins.
Shout out to Cam Newton because I didn't see this during the game, but there was at one point Aaron Rodgers popped one of the smelling salts, flicked it away like a cigarette, and threw a touchdown. Like, you better get all of that out of Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers this week because you're not at home in some bad weather where you can kind of make the game ugly. You're going to be in a track meet in that dome. And I just don't know if the Steelers offense has the ability to keep up with that Detroit offense, which even in losses looks good. Even in losses, they score points. The 34 last week or whatever it was, 30-something last week. That would scare me. The problem is, and this is the credit I will give the Steelers in this game, Detroit hasn't won any of these damn games that they needed to win to get into the playoffs. So I'm just supposed to believe you're going to turn it up with 3 weeks left and you're going to win. Now, if it's anybody could do it, it's Dan Campbell and the Lions, but you haven't showed me all year that you can win when it matters, when you need the game. So
I agree. I will say this reminds me of the Bears game that the Lions played in week 3, where the Lions won 52-21.
I like the bold prediction. Bold predictions. All right, let's get to Sunday night. I'm pissed off about this one, like you were, James Madison. The Patriots travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Just want to point out that Las Vegas, the people who run all this gambling stuff and take all of our money, they have the Baltimore Ravens favored by 2.5 points over the Patriots.
Wow.
Has somebody been watching the NFL season that I haven't been watching? Is this a replay of some other year? Because from what I've seen, I don't care if they're at home or not. I would not favor the Patriots. I'm telling you now, I'm putting money on the Pats. Okay, they lost to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills on a great performance by Josh Allen. Lamar ain't had a performance like that all year.
Yeah. like before you said that, I was going to make an argument that Baltimore has a chance because they're desperate and because it's potentially that New England's still kind of shell shocked from the loss last week, but I'm not favoring them in any right. I still think New England comes here because of Vrabel and has a professional performance and just obliterates this really bad Baltimore defense and just contains Lamar. Listen, they have a shot, but in no way should they be favored.
No, I don't know. I don't believe in this Ravens team. And I think Drake May is going to remind everybody who he is and why he was in the MVP conversation, because I think he's going to absolutely shred this Ravens defense. Because it's not good. Everybody has shredded this Ravens defense, except for when Joe Burrow's throwing it to the other team. But I don't get me wrong. This has all the makings of the Ravens are back and they put on an outstanding Sunday night performance. But I don't. It's going to take a miracle, and I just don't think this Ravens team is built this year to make the playoff run that they thought they were going to make. So, Monday night, San Francisco at Indianapolis. We got to talk about it. Anthony Richardson has been cleared to practice. However, he is still out for this Monday night game, which means 44-year-old Phillip Rivers and them Colts are going to host the 49ers. Drew, here's the problem.
He's 44.
Well, yeah, their quarterback is 44. They also played a very offensively limited team in the Seattle Seahawks last week.
Yes.
You can say all that you want about San Francisco. The one thing that I will say that you are not allowed to say is they are offensively challenged, because they are not. Do the Colts even have a shot here?
I mean, Nick Bosa is still on IR, so kind of, yeah. I will say, you never know how much rust Phillip Rivers needed to dust off in his first week. So maybe he looks improved in week 2 and this offense kind of gets going a little bit more. But this is the Colts' last chance to do anything in terms of pushing for the playoffs. And you're going up against a team that is still technically a game out of their division, depending on the results of, the game tonight. They got a chance. If Phillip Rivers turns back the clock and goes, oh, no, I know how to do this, and breaks down a very still injured 49ers defense. But I think it's more on the Colts defense has to have the game of their lives to even have a chance in this game.
Here's my problem. So Phillip Rivers is 44. So I have a couple things in common with Phillip Rivers, and that we're both old. He's older than me. I'm 36. Here's the problem. Shut up. Phillip Rivers was the healthiest and the most fittest and the most unsore that he will ever be before he played that last game. It is absolutely downhill from here. And listen, I am not a professional athlete. I got to play in college. So, I had some athleticism. But what I can tell you is when I started hooping with my guys at a 36-year-old on a Monday, I still hurt come Sunday. Okay? So my problem for Phillip Rivers is I played basketball against some other old men. You played football against 20-year-olds. There is zero chance that man is okay. There is zero chance that man feels okay and his body feels good. So that's what worries me. Now that you start taking a couple more hits and then all of a sudden the shoulder just don't want to work anymore because I got slammed down hard, or I drank my water bottle too fast and now my stomach hurts because I'm old. This is the scary part for the Colts is that was the healthiest Phillip Rivers was going to be. He is an old man. He is going to hurt from this point forward. What kind of good football can he give you? Although if he just stands back there and slings that thing around, they'll have a chance. But I really think we could have a possibility where the Colts are going to an emergency quarterback Monday night because somebody from San Francisco laid out Phillip Rivers, and it's hard for a 44-year-old man to get back up.
all true statements. I'm hoping for a 250 and 2 touchdown performance. That would be absolutely amazing to watch.
100%. All right, Drew. Let's finish. Oh, well, I think I took away your. Oh no bye weeks this week. Good. Everybody's playing.
No,
that's what I was looking for.
No more for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. That's great to have. All right, Drew. Let's finish on some footy.
Absolutely. And Ken, you know what? We got some good games this week. I'm very happy because a lot of times it's the only games that we're covering are the games that we play, but we actually have some fun ones. Start off with not our games. Arsenal, I want to say Goodison Park, but it's not Goodison Park anymore. Travel to Everton.
Stadium.
Yeah, right. Where while Everton hasn't played great, they are still a punchy team, and this Arsenal team has kind of looked kind of vulnerable the past couple weeks. Losing to Aston Villa, drawing to me. They are showing weakness. Barely beating Wolves last week. They've shown weakness. And I think what we're all hoping for is that this Everton team that can get up on occasion can get up for this game and put some pressure back on the title race.
Oh, I would love that so much. I also have a bad feeling that they're going to win 3-0. And
very possible.
Reestablish that dominance back at the top. This is a pivotal game, I think, for Arsenal because throughout this want to get a title run that they've had over the past couple of years, these are the games that they lose throughout the year that allows City or allows Liverpool to take over, to clip that lead, to take it back. And then Arsenal are 1 point away when we get to the last week of this season and they lose. Like this is, you want to be different, Arsenal. Win this game. Reestablish the lead. You've had a dip in form. Like I said, a draw with you, a late loss against Aston Villa, a late winner against Wolves. They haven't been great performances. Take the pieces of those performances that have been good, put them together, go out and beat a not great Everton team. Let's just be honest. Yeah. Like they're a mid-table team for a reason. Go out and get your 3 points against a mid-table team, and this is all good.
No, I think you're absolutely right there, and so we will see. The next game that honestly is not as big of a game as it has been in recent years. 7th in the table, Liverpool. Travel to number 11 in the table, Tottenham. Obviously, we put this game on because this is still one of the big six.
It warms my heart to hear those.
But it still warms both of our hearts to see that their placement in the table. However, I still think it'll be a good game, and I think it'll be a good test to see, one, if Liverpool can bounce back for the rest of the season. It sounds like Salah and their manager have kind of gotten through it, so hopefully the locker room is better. But also, I think for a Tottenham team to show that
Slot. We lose that every week. Slot
every week. For Tottenham, it's also a game that says, hey, this is a struggling Liverpool team. This is a team that's struggling to get results. Can we pounce on this? Can we use that as a Kickstarter to kind of climb back up in the table? We will see. The one thing about Tottenham is that they will score, but they will also concede. And so I think this should be a relatively high-scoring game, but we will see there. We'll go back up to me real quick.
Hold on. I think for me, if Spurs wins this game, I'm going to look at it and go, okay, Spurs have had some good performances against some top teams this year. I'm not really surprised. But I'm going to look more over at the Liverpool side and go, this ain't working. No. This is not working. If they win the game, either team wins this game, honestly, and I'm going to go, okay. Like I said, Spurs, yeah, you've beaten some top 6 teams, but you've also lost some really bad games. Liverpool, right. You're so up and down that I can't get a grasp on whether this win is anything. But a loss for Liverpool will absolutely make me go, maybe he's not the right guy. maybe these players aren't the right players. I mean, this Mo Salah situation is ugly, regardless of whether or not it's been fixed. Yeah. I'm gonna look at Liverpool sideways if they lose this game.
I would agree, and I think Tottenham. This is a very good measuring stick for Thomas Frank to see kind of where he's at in his first season with Tottenham. All right. Chelsea traveled to St. James's Park to play Newcastle. Ken, we say this all the time with Newcastle, obviously very underperforming this year, just beat themselves playing against Sunderland as the rivalry. However, St. James's Park, one of the best venues in all of English soccer, will always get up for a game. Chelsea also, unfortunately, very prone to beating themselves as well. This is the early game, so it's not going to be kind of, your 3 o'clock here, like 8 o'clock there, big game for St. James's Park to get up. However, I think the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win this game. I think both attacks are good enough to pounce on mistakes, but both defenses are shaky enough to give up those mistakes. And so I think that's the biggest key there is what defense is going to be solid enough to kind of take the game over.
The story for me is more on the Newcastle side. Where is your locker room's head at?
Yeah.
You just lost to your biggest rival, who's now newly promoted to the Premier League last week.
And above you in the table.
They beat you. They took a photo. All of social media in terms of any EPL stuff related has been heavily Sunderland favored just because of the atmosphere that we talked about on Tuesday and told people to go look at. So I'm a little worried where that Newcastle dressing room is, because if you haven't gotten over that and you haven't got a little bit of fire in the belly, this Chelsea team is not a team that I want to have to go play when I'm not playing great, because that offense is going to come at me and I'm going to just be like, damn. But this has been a vulnerable Chelsea side, but I still personally think that Newcastle is at home, so it does help them, but we'll see what that Newcastle. I believe that crowd will be fired up and pissed off and angry. An early Chelsea goal could go a long way in really derailing the rest of this Newcastle season from this point forward.
I agree. I think this is a big game for Eddie Howe to kind of save himself, because I honestly, in terms of coaches on the hot seat, obviously Arne Slot is on fire. But I think Eddie Howe is definitely starting to warm up because of how much money they've been putting into that team. And they had one good season where they got into the Champions League, and that's been it.
Yeah, they have not been able to replicate that success.
All right. After honestly, a very, while disappointing result, an exciting game for Manchester United with the 4-4 draw to a good Bournemouth team. Manchester United travel to probably the hottest team in the EPL right now, Aston Villa. Ken, obviously a lot of positives this season, but also some stumbles. You are going up against a team that has not dropped points since November 1st in a 2-0 loss to Liverpool. What is the motivation into this game? And how are you feeling going into it?
Not in the face. I'm terrified. Please be nice to me. No, I
don't think this is a get 3 points game, in my opinion. You want 3 points and you want to show that you're back up there. But I don't think the message should be just get 3 points, because I think this is a team that if you draw and you look good, I think you take it as a win.
That's what I'm hoping for, because Aston Villa has looked good. You talked about it. They haven't dropped points. We're dropping points all over the place to some teams that we probably shouldn't be dropping points to. However, it's happened it's happened multiple times this year, and even before Ruben Amorim get there, this team has a habit of showing up to these games, the ones where all of a sudden we aren't supposed to win, and going out and blowing a team out. I mean, we did it to Liverpool this year. We've done it to City before. I always draw with you, so it doesn't freaking matter. We've done it to
Yeah.
Arsenal. We've done it to Arsenal. We've done this before. So the problem is the AFCON Cup is going on right now, and my team
Yes.
was decimated with people who are no longer with the team, and they're with their respective countries. So man, it's got all the makings of some random United performance where Kobe Mano has a hat trick and somehow this team wins the
2-1.
damn game. But
2-1
yeah,
United.
they better bring it, because if not,
Um,
Villa gonna run them off the field.
I'm predicting 2-1. Not sure which way it goes. Depends on how you come out. However, I do want to mention Villa. Obviously, they had that Arsenal win, and it was very impressive. However, during this streak of wins, they haven't played a lot of teams. Their upcoming schedule: home against United, away at Chelsea, away at Arsenal, home against Forest, away at Crystal Palace, and then away at Tottenham. A very brutal schedule and a brutal stretch, but I think that'll shape what this Aston Villa team is going to be in the later stretch of this year. If they can get through that with maybe one loss and then a draw, but mostly wins, I think this Villa team is in great shape to take a Champions League spot. And we have to kind of pencil them in. But if they stumble multiple games in this, I think we can say that this Villa team had a great burst, but just doesn't have the depth to contend for Europe this year.
Unai Emery just has shown a habit of getting his teams into Europe, so we'll see how they can perform. We'll see what my United can do. Ugh.
Come on.
Hey, there's my table. Merry Christmas, Ken. There is your updated Premier League table. I just want to point out I'm in a place that has a different color than gray. That makes me so happy. Arsenal currently in the lead with 36 points. Manchester City right behind them, followed by Aston Villa. And then Chelsea sit in fourth place at 28 points. And then there is a 4-way tie for the fifth and sixth spots with Crystal Palace, Manchester United, Liverpool, and Sunderland all sitting at 26 points. And I got to give them a little bit more respect than I did in the preview. Sitting right underneath all of those teams, just 2 points behind with 24 points, is Everton. So I got to give them the respect that they deserve. Nothing has changed at the bottom other than Leeds needs to not be dropping points because West Ham are right on their tails. And I know for a fact Leeds does not want to yo-yo back down. However, West Ham going down, a club like West Ham going down would be a major blow to the Premier League.
No, I agree. Listen, West Ham, amazing fans, amazing stadium, great atmosphere, a team you always want to see in the Premier League. However, we've said that about teams in the past, and it's happened. That's just the way it goes. And so we will see. I think West Ham have more depth and they look better lately in terms of getting results. And I think Leeds, while talented, I think down the stretch concede a little too much. But we'll see. I think Wolves are almost a given at this point, and Burnley, unless you get a amazing back half of the season performance, is also likely to go down. Yeah, I think it is between West Ham, Leeds, and Forest there, and it's just who can get results, and especially against each other.
Yeah, yes, that becomes very important down the stretch. Is not just getting a result against some of the higher up clubs, beating those teams right near you and making those jumps a little bit more week to week. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. I've asked you that for weeks now, and you finally came through for me. I know you didn't want to do it every week. I understand, and there's reasons for it. But whew, I made it. I survived. I got through the show. I'm going to bed. Good night, everyone. But that'll do it for us here on the Straub Sports Show. Thank you, everybody, for rocking with us this week. Drew, final shout outs.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for liking, watching, commenting, however you support the show. No shout outs, but a couple updates. Devontae Adams officially out for Thursday Night Football, along with 5 others for the Rams. And so a little bit of a depleted Rams team going into Thursday Night Football. We'll see what shakes up there. The Jaguars give Jacoby Myers a 3-year, $60 million extension. Obviously, they believe in him as being the wide receiver 1 with Trevor Lawrence. I still think you should draft a receiver to help him out. But there's that. And also,
they got Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas
don't matter.
Jr. Okay.
Brian Thomas Jr. look terrible. Also, it is more likely than not that Dallas will franchise tag George Pickens as a contract has not been settled yet.
Question for you, because this came up, because both guys are eligible to be franchised this year. If you were the Dallas Cowboys, would you franchise George Pickens or Brandon Aubrey?
George Pickens.
Then you better pay Brandon Aubrey. That's the best kicker in the league.
And I think you would. Listen, a $15 million a year contract, which is probably what he would go for, if I'm being completely honest, is much better than whatever George Pickens is asking for.
I can guarantee Jerry's gonna fuck this up. Thanks a lot, Jerry Jones. But yeah, no more. I'm done with Dallas. That'll do it for us. Enjoy your weekend. Listen, to my men out there, be careful this weekend. Okay, we got college football playoffs on Friday. We got college football playoffs in NFL on Saturday. We've got a whole slate of NFL on Sunday. Do not get divorced or broke up with this weekend.
Right before Christmas.
Right before Christmas. I know there's probably a lot of present wrapping, a lot of last-minute gift getting. Man, you better hit the Amazon truck real hard this weekend if you do not want to be out of the house.
Also, I actually forgot to say this. It's a negative shout out. I don't know when it's a poo-poo. I don't know how we want to call this, to the Cleveland Guardians for designating John Kenzie Noel for assignment 7 or 8 days before Christmas. I can't believe it. You couldn't even wait till the new year. Absolutely disgusting behavior. No, I understand it. He looked awful in AAA when he went down, and he looked awful in the Winter League before he got hurt. So and you want to make room. I completely understand it. However, I want to shout him out because I was live for one of the best moments in Cleveland Guardians history in the past 10 years. So shout out to him wherever he goes. I hope he finds success unless it's with the Yankees.
For the rest of you, just so you know, the minute this news broke on Twitter, he sent it to me like it was the most important news of the entire day.
Because it was. Because it was.
I love you.
Love you.
All right. That's it. That'll do it for us here. Enjoy your football this weekend. Enjoy your footy this weekend. Enjoy it all. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your time. And hey, my guys, even if you are watching a lot of football, spend some time with the family this weekend. Do what you got to do. That'll do it for us. We will see you Tuesday.
Probably.
We ain't
doing Christmas Eve, so
yeah, we're definitely not doing. Yeah, we're definitely. So one show next week. We will have one show next week. We will definitely do it on Tuesday. One big mega show to get you ready for Christmas, which means that will be our Christmas show. Which means Drew's coming heavy. It's already ready. It's already. We see the hat over there. He's prepping it in the background. I'm gonna do something. Maybe I'll put some lights on the shelf or something. We'll figure it out. But either way, that'll do it for us here on the Straub Sports Show. Thank you for tapping in with us. Thank you for dealing with me trying to struggle through the show today. Shout out to Bro. You carried us big and heavy. Oh, wait a minute. I did it for 2 weeks in a row, and I finally remembered it.
Hey.
Big Bros, Big Bets. We went massive on the NFL parlay this week. I didn't even know you could get up to those kind of numbers. Take all the favorites and then mix the Patriots in there and have you a good Christmas. All right? I feel like that's the best way to end it right there. Mix a couple of those up if you want to. Separate them into a couple of different ones. I'm a degenerate. I'm going all in.
Put it all in. Get your money back from you're spending on the Christmas presents.
Absolutely. Landon, we hit that boy. We're going to Disney World. That'll do it for us here on the Straub Sports Show. Thank you for tapping in with us on Facebook and YouTube. If you're there on either one of those platforms, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share, give us a sub, give us a love, give us anything. We'll take it. And to all our YouTube people who give us all of those hearts and the love that we can't actually see unless I have it up on my phone, which I did a little bit today. We appreciate you. That'll do it for us. For little bro Drew, I'm Big Bro Ken signing off. We'll see you Tuesday. And as always, love yours.
Show. Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. College game day and Thursday night. Rivals fall and the banter flies. We bleed our teams till the day